Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bookish Artist Mandy here, and I'm coming at you today with a video about 75 hard. Now, there are a lot of videos out there about 75 hard. I haven't found one where they're journaling about it, so if they do exist, please share with me because I'd love to see some journaling content about it, because I feel like journaling is a really good way to reflect and just really look at everything that you did. Okay, before we get started, I did want to make a shout out to Allison at Little Coco Studio for starting her videos with her beverage and her snack. And today I am going to as well, and I'm having coffee with cream, which is my normal staple, and these amazing holiday ginger snaps from, what is it, product of Sweden that I found at World Market because my friend said these were really good. So they're just really thin, but you can dip them in your coffee and they're yummy. So that is what I have today. And I just want to get started talking about a little bit about why I chose to do 75 hard and where I decided that it was not for me. And it's not the reason that I thought it would be. And so it's really fascinating to me and how much I've grown as a person and how much I also value myself in ways that I never thought I would. And that is a lot of this that's really, really good and really interesting. So I am a product, and if you are anywhere near being anywhere near your 40s or 50s, a late millennial, grew up and raised in the early 2000s, or even before that, because it's been rooted for so long, you will completely understand and relate to never being enough and never being thin enough, no matter what. And your value was always on how much you weighed. And so that is something that I feel like us as a generation, or us as a whole, even culture, even now as we're seeing things rise because of GLP-1s and things, it's one of those things that's never going to go away. And as a girl who is not the normal body type, it was hard for me growing up, and I always thought that I was never going to be enough, that I was never good. No matter what I did, you had to be extreme. And so I think for a lot of psychologically, programs like this are appealing. And then in my early 20s, when my brain and my adulthood is just developing, I discovered, like many people, The Biggest Loser, which, if you've watched the documentary recently, which I did because I loved it, you will see that there were some questionable things going on there and what it can do and wreak havoc on your body. So I have a big history. This is not the first time that I've looked at a fitness program, but I was looking at this a little bit different because I have just gotten off of The Artist's Way, and I wanted something with structure. And this is not it for me. So as I am going through this, that is one of the things that I wanted to talk about. And so now I'm going to go into this a little bit more, but I want to also work on the journal spread. So it's also a journal with me. So I'm just kind of gonna bring out my watercolors and paint a little bit and add some beauty to this as I go. And feel free to journal and think about, you know, your reasons and your your motivations for the things that you do, because I think it's really important. That's the one big thing. And I am planning on talking and reflecting through The Artist's Way, because I completed it. I actually completed it because I've done it. I've tried to do it a couple times. I've tried to do it multiple times. I even tried to do it last year, apparently, and didn't remember because I didn't even finish the first day. But I loved the structure, and the thing is that slow and gentle, and also having structure and having somebody telling me what to do, or, you know, giving me guidelines has been really helpful, and planning and all of that has been great. So I thought, okay, well, this is structure. This is something that I watched, and shout out to her for finishing it a second time, because I got 7 days and I was like, no, that's enough for me. Jennifer Madison here on YouTube, she is so real about her journey, and I loved watching this last journey of hers, which is why I was like, I want to do that too, because she works really hard to push herself for it. So yeah, I will link her channel down below, but check out her videos. They are very realistic, and I think like she makes it seem doable. She doesn't make it seem like what I'm going to talk about, because I think the big thing that put me off and made me ultimately decide that this challenge wasn't for me was the actual app. So in my 20s, I would have been all about this app. I was a Jillian Michaels stan. Like, I'm not even going to talk about how much I had a crush on her. My friends like knew how much I love Jillian Michaels. I had one of my really close friends in college. We drove all the way down. It was like a 5-hour trip to Kansas City to go to a Jillian Michaels she had just written a book, and it was like this, she basically gave a speech. We drove down for a Jillian Michaels experience night. It was ridiculous. I look back at it now and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, but that was who I was. I had become a super fitness person. I don't even know the name of their company now because I left, but I at one point decided to be a coach for that business Beachbody or whatever. So this is my 20s. So this is 15 years ago, 13, 14, 15, 16 years ago, somewhere around there, that I was doing this, because this was in the height of college, and I had lost so much weight by, strength training and doing things like, what was that one? Insanity, all those. So this is not new to me. And these things are appealing, especially when you have a low sense of self-worth like I have. I haven't talked a lot about it, and I don't plan on it, because it's my struggle that I've gone through. But I basically lived my life thinking I was worthless, and thinking that I didn't matter, and that the world would be better off without me. That's about it. So I had no sense of value, and I have spent the last decade with a therapist and building this life where I feel like I have value, and I, love to tell other people they have value, because I've been there. I've been to the lowest of the lows where you feel like you don't matter and your life isn't great. So I totally get that feeling. And that's, I think, why these things are attractive to us, because it, makes you feel like you could be of value if you do this. And goodness gracious, made my decision that I was like, okay, I'm done, and I want to talk about why I am done. Because this morning, because it was this morning that I decided. So that's when I decided. I was like, this video was gonna be the first 7 days of 75 hard, but this ended up being, screw this. That's how I feel. So this morning I went into my app getting ready to take my progress photo, and I forgot to mark off my water last night, which means that I woke up to this, and I will show you. He looks real scary. This is the guy who created 75 hard, which is fine. But he looks scary, and this is what it says. What happened? You didn't mark everything complete. That means either you did the work and forgot to check everything off, or you let your inner bitch voice beat you. Which is it? And you can put I completed yesterday or I failed. So I clicked I completed yesterday because I did. And this is what it said. Don't cheat yourself. Did you really complete everything? If you didn't, just own it and start over. If you did, keep going. You missed days will automatically be marked complete. For some reason, that just struck a nerve in me, in a way that I can't explain. And maybe this is what some people need, but coming off of The Artist's Way, where I spent 3 months, 12 weeks recognizing these pieces in me and really embracing the slow and gentle. This just felt like, wow, you are kind of, and I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, you can fill in the blank for me. But I just was like, okay, I had already had my thought processes and my reservations about this program and it being for me. And that just kind of sealed the deal for me. It wasn't for me. And that's okay. Like, that's one of those things to recognize. And I think in the past, I would have been like, oh, you're a failure. Because it says you failed. So then it's like, start over. You failed because people can't complete this challenge. So it's like, why try a challenge that you think you're going to fail, that everybody, that like the majority of people in the world can't complete? And why is it that it's like this mental endurance, and why is that the attitude that we have when it comes to things like this? So those were questions that I asked myself as I was going through this. And so now I'm going to go through every single different piece of this, and you can see what I'm going to have to say about some of them just by the space, and what I'm not going to have stuff to say, except that then this is just the overall reflection. So we're going to go through this, and you're going to hang out with me while I do this. And I've got some Cat Collage Club stickers to decorate because I want to make this cute. Hello. And I have this. So we're going to start with the 45-minute workout. This is Sailor Shikiori Yozakura in this. And what's really fun, this is the only one in this instance, I just put Yozakura in this, so I'm going to use this. So the 45-minute workout, this is where I honestly thought in the past this would be my trip-ups, because imagining working out for 90 minutes a day just sounded awful. Well, over the past few months, since maybe March or February, and because, like, as a teacher, I get a lot of movement. And so this was actually the easiest piece for me because school started. So I walk my kids to and from school, and it is a half an hour walk to and from. So I just added an extra 15 minutes and I walk my dogs. So this was just fine. And so it's like, it has to be outdoors, come rain or shine. This was fine. And that's what I'm going to say. This was doable, and was very doable. And we walk our kids to school unless it's dangerous out. And we, like, had I chosen to do, I was very strategic with choosing this. When I did 75 hard, there is no way that I would have chosen this in January and February, because it is literally dangerous to be outside for 45 minutes. You cannot be outside walking for 45 minutes some days. And so I thought, okay, well, I am not going to do that. But because for me, walking is so good. It has so many benefits. I just love it. I love walking. And that is one thing that I'm never going to stop. But I also was like, well, why don't I try some other things? So I brought a bike out and I did that. And so this was very doable. I did enjoy this. And this is something that I am going to keep my 45-minute workout, at least like the outdoor, I did enjoy this. This will be something I keep. And honestly, it may not be 45 minutes. The one thing they do say in the 75 hard, that if you break it up, like say I did a 15-minute walk and then a 30-minute walk and they weren't at the same time, they don't count. And I feel like that, to me also, it's like, this guy, I'm like, do you have kids? Do you have a life outside of this? And are you just a gym bro? That's all I'm going to say there. But that was kind of my thing. Okay. But I did it. I did do it. I just added, there were even a couple mornings where I left my husband at home, picked up the dogs, and we kept walking for 15 minutes, which is great. But that was fine. And because I pick my kids up and I drop them off, like this was simple too. I would say this was simple during the week. Where I ran into trouble was like what I thought, the weekends. And I know myself and I know where I'm at with my strength training. I do love strength training. I'm not gonna, during the week, not weekend, weekdays, but weekend was tough. Yeah, so I will say that I wanted to add more strength, but there's no way that I was going to start a 45-minute strength training regime because I'm almost 40. That means my body is in a different place. And if I start 45 minutes, that is not slow and gentle. So I didn't focus on any strength this last week, which I was doing 10 minutes to 20 minutes of strength the other weeks, and I was feeling myself getting stronger. I was having issues in my elbow and I was having pain, and I started doing the strength training for like upper arms and elbows and all of that, and I don't have pain anymore. And now that I haven't done it for over a week, I'm starting to feel pain again, which means I need to get back to that. So that is one of those things where I'm like, well, this was actually a detriment to my health. If you want to do this for your health and a mental endurance, like that isn't great, you know? I think that maybe there's a reason not all people can do this. Maybe because it isn't like enabling for people. And do I want to do a challenge, or do I want to do something that's going to last forever and be something that makes my life better? That was where I was at with this. And so I'm going to say, but not 45 minutes. No, thank you. Yeah, so that is how I felt about those. And let's see here. Let's find a great sticker to go with that, because I know that Cat Collage Club, Micah, made some really cute workout ones over the summer. Like, look at him. He's walking. Isn't he adorable? He might be too big. Let's see. I know I have some more. Let's go through here. Like, these are so, I just love them all. Oh, they make me happy. See? Happy. And this was not bringing joy. So I did it, though. I completed the 7 days. So I feel like, and I could have, like, that's the whole thing with all of this, is I could have done the 75 days, but I was like, it's not worth it to me. You know, she's kind of cute. Maybe, you know what? I'm going to put her here. And maybe there was a water bottle, but I think I moved the water bottle the other day yesterday because I wanted to put it in another spread. So, grr, arg. Well, that's okay. Oh, there's me quoting Buffy. Well, but there's this. Because I wanted to include strength, there's strength. It would be also nice to do yoga and everything, but I know that when I did more than 20 minutes of yoga starting out, I actually pulled a muscle in my back and couldn't move for a whole week. So it's knowing myself, and that's why I stuck to walking, which walking has so many benefits, and my health and my mental health has been really great. Even though I've been going through a lot of stuff mentally with grief, I actually have felt really, really great. So there's that one. And I want to color this too, because I think it's cute. And then we're going to switch colors here. And then flip this guy. This is Diamine Blue Steel. I'm trying to think of what color I want to put with it, because I do not have this one inked in a pen. I think, what do I have in that pen? And that one's orangey. You know what? Let's go with this guy, because this is a medium nib with Kitsune Biore, and I am losing my nail Sorry, it's really bothering me, but okay, I'll have to clip it after. Okay, so the next one, every single day, and this was probably the easiest of the whole challenge, but the most annoying to me, take a progress photo. I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this, like, my goal is not weight loss. My goal is all around health. If I lose weight doing the things that are taking care of myself, great, but I don't care. Like, that is the thing, is I have gotten to the point in my life where I don't care what I look like. To be perfectly honest, I like to feel put together, especially when I am working, but I don't care what the scale says. I like to see the scale sometimes just as feedback of, okay, if I track my weight through the month, I can see where I'm bloating. I can see what's happening. When I get headaches is weight an issue. When I eat certain foods is weight an issue. Like, I don't care about what I look like. And I think that is what comes down to this. So why do I need to take a progress photo so I can see my progress? When I feel like this, I want to morph into, I don't want a progress photo. And I think that there is room for it if that's what you really want, but I don't want a progress photo. I want progress journaling. So that's what I would say for there. So this is one that I was just like, ugh. So I literally would wake up, take a picture of myself in my kitchen just so I could cross it off. And I wore whatever I wanted. So I wouldn't have even seen my progress, because my progress for me, if this is a mental challenge, why are we focusing on taking a progress photo? Please explain this to me. So rooted in diet culture. Just sorry, this right here is rooted in diet culture. That is my opinion on here. And so I don't want one. And so all those progress photos I took for the 7 days, I'm deleting them because I think they're stupid. That's just me. If you need, like don't get me wrong, if you need this for yourself, great. But I'm not one of those people who does. And I take photos. I don't want to look at a photo to look at like the before and after. I am a whole bum human. I was going to say another word there, but I really just don't like to swear on YouTube. I'm a whole bum person at any weight and size, and I have always felt that way. And I am so grateful that I felt that way for the last 7 years when I've had kids, because there are so many amazing memories where I'm in photos just living my life. And goodness gracious, this makes me think about yesterday, and I was journaling in my mini traveler's notebook, and I feel like this ties in with this. So I want a progress journal. That's what I want. And because I was so busy with all of these, I just didn't have time at the end of the day to make my progress journal, and that really bummed me out. So that's how I feel. But yesterday I got this beautiful sterling ink. What do you call this? This is a booklet. Oh, my brain. Okay. Still early, but I was playing with it because this is the 52 GSM Sanzen Tomoe River paper, and I decided I wanted to try it. And so I just started journaling my life, and this is the part that I want to talk about. Not this part. I went shopping with a friend and whatnot, but I got home yesterday from shopping with my friend. We went spooky shopping. It was really awesome. I will share that stuff in another video, what we got, because it was fun. But this is what really got me. So when I got home, I loved this because this really fit for it. When I got home, I had to go pick up my kids from school. And there's the journal for it. But I want to talk about this. I went to pick up my kids from school, and I got there way early because I have a really hard time gauging, because I've been walking so much for the past almost year. I have been getting faster and my endurance is getting better. So I am really having a hard time figuring out how long it takes me to get places, and I end up being early. I would much rather, when picking up my kids, be early than late. So I got there and there was still 15 minutes before they got out of school. And I had left my phone at home. We don't live that far, but I had left my phone at home charging. So I had nothing with me to keep me company. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm so bored. And with ADHD, this is not fun. And so they have this big field right in front of, or right off to the side of their school. And I decided, I had been hearing about grounding, and my friend and I had been talking about how we want our husbands to go touch grass. So I was like, I should touch some grass. So I took off my shoes and I walked around, and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird because I still have my socks on. I didn't want to take them off because I didn't want to have to put them back on. We'll be full transparent. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to lay down in the grass like I did as a kid, because this is not something I would have done before the Artist's Way, but I did it. And I laid there for about 10 minutes until the first bell rang. And then I got up and I walked to the building and got my kids and whatnot, and thought nothing of it because I was just entertaining myself. I get a text message about 2 hours later from my son's friend's mom. And she's like, I saw you at the school today. You were being a total BA, just laying in the grass. And I was like, I was just being bored. But she's like, well, you inspired me. I was like, well, inspired you what? To touch grass? Because maybe we all should touch grass. But that's the point, is like, I don't care. And so the whole idea is that I am just trying to better my life, and I don't care about what I look like, because even I'm not a small girl. I will 100% say that. I think if you're following this channel, you know, because earlier in this journal, I drew myself, and I drew myself quite realistically. Even if I was drawing a cartoon, you can see that I'm not drawing myself as if I was a teeny tiny person, because I'm not. But I don't need the progress photos. I was drawing myself for outfits. But yeah, that is the whole point of that, is that I didn't see the value in it. And I literally looked at those pictures. I was like, this is dumb. This is really dumb to me. And maybe it's not for other people. They need to see that progress. I really think that 10 years ago, because 10 years ago, those progress photos would have mattered so much, because that's where I would have placed my value, rather than placing my value in who I am as a person. And so that for me is so much growth, and it made me really happy. So that was something that I wanted to talk about, is the progress photo. I think they're dumb, but that's me. And if you love your progress photos, for you, I think I love looking at them. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love looking at other people's progress photos, because I know how hard it is to do that stuff. I just don't like looking at progress photos of myself, because I think that I'm important and have value in every place, and that the full picture of that picture isn't in there. So that just, for me, is my thing. I want progress photos like of me living my life. I just want, that's more important to me. Okay. The next one. You would think that I would have nothing to say about this one, because I'm a giant reader, but I have some things to say. So this is partially because of my history with this kind of stuff, and I have some negative history, but that's okay. But I went and looked, and I was like, nonfiction, I just want to read, because I love reading. 10 pages in a book, I could do anytime. But I was like, oh, I don't want to read nonfiction. Ugh. And I went on to see what he was recommending. And it said, one of the 5 critical tasks on the 75 Hard program is reading 10 pages of a nonfiction, personal development focused book, and for good reason. This is to sharpen and feed your mind rich information for your growth and development. These books will give you the lessons, skills, and perspectives from those who are much further down the road than you. Throughout my years, I've read a lot of books, more than I can count. If you're looking for recommendations on good books you can read, I've compiled a list. And you'll find everything from mindset to business strategy and more. These aren't just books. They are tools. Use them wisely, and your life will change for the better. So I was like, okay, well, let's see what you got. What are your books? So I went down and I found them. Here are his books. His name, the guy's the creator, his name is Andy Frisella. So his first book is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Read that book. It's awful. I won't get into it, but that book makes me so mad. The next one is Grit by Angela Duckworth. Never heard of it. Don't know. Don't care. the third book on his list, The Book on Mental Toughness by Andy Frisella. Oh, so you're advertising your own book. I got it. And the list goes on and on of Law of Attraction, The Subtle Art of Not Giving Crap, A Max Out of Your Life, and more. Gosh, what was another one that I've seen so many times? Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. These books are, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, please do not take this as, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, who was a giant butt. Okay, that's how I'm going to say this, but please take this as my opinion, and I don't have negative opinions on people who read these books, not at all. I just feel like, as a person who is reading critically, those are not the books that I would pick to grow my mind. And it really bothered me that those books are so self-centered and self-centric and so self-focused, and they all, like, literally they all say the same thing in different words, and they make me just irate because they're written at like a 4th grade level, which is fine for people, and some people do need that boost of motivation, but at what cost? And at what cost for literary stuff? I don't read that stuff. I have read those books. Like I've read Eat That Frog. I've read The Compound Effect. I've read, gosh, all those other ones. I went through a phase where that's all I read. And I got nothing out of it but feeling negative about myself because it was all self-focused. And so when I was like, okay, well, nonfiction, I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to read any of those when I was looking at this challenge, because I'm just not. I'm not going to waste my time. I was like, if that's what this challenge is going to be, I'm not doing it. And so I went through all of my books and I was like, oh, wait, I have some nonfiction books. So this is the book that I have been reading, and I'm really glad that I did that. I did this. So I am happy for this because I am reading Abolition Geography: Essays Towards Liberation by Ruth Wilson Gilmore. These are tough. Like, these articles, there's so much that, like, I feel like I could read what I've read. Like, I've read 100 pages of it. I feel like I could read what I read over the last week over and over and not even remotely grasp what she's saying. Like in a good way. Like, there is just so much. This woman is so full of knowledge. And what I love is that this is backed up by research. This is backed up by like articles and articles and articles and looking at history, and those other books are not. So I picked this. And so I would say that he needs to reevaluate what nonfiction is, in my opinion, and maybe read something like that, because I'm sorry, this is not self-focused. Reading essays about liberation and abolition, like, this is not self-focused. This is all about how we can make the world a better place for all people. And I feel like that's more important. That is just on me. And that is my opinion. And so, yes, will I keep going for 10 pages? I loved it. I got up every morning, and I loved reading. And so I'm going to say I loved reading my book every morning. And I'm going to continue. What I was finding for this last week is, and that's really great because I felt this way during the Artist's Way as well, is that I would wake up every morning and I would read right away. So I'm going to write that down. It was fantastic. And the reason it was fantastic is because it actually opened up a lot of conversations with my husband and I on our walks home from dropping our kids off. And it was really good because my husband is very smart. And we had a lot to say, and it's really nice because I feel like we are able to educate each other and listen to each other, but also like we're able to pass that to our children. We're able to talk with our friends, like being able to have conversation, because he didn't completely agree with everything I said, and that's how that goes. But we were able to actually talk it out, and like I really love that. So I will say that even though I disagree with what he would read, I will continue to have 10 minutes of morning reading that looks different than what my normal reading, because I also want to say that the reason I chose the morning is thanks to Meredith on the Currently Reading podcast. She's been talking about doing this kind of morning reading and how it's transformed her life, and they call reading like a set amount of time or a set page number slow and steady. So I am reading this abolition geography slow and steady. Instead of trying to read it all, I'm really trying to take it in and process what I'm reading, because I don't completely understand everything she's talking about. So then I'm taking notes to myself and looking up things and getting more into it, where I wouldn't do that with a thriller book. I just wouldn't, because that's for pure entertainment. This is not just to entertain myself. This is really to seize perspectives and understand the history behind all of this so that I can continue learning more about the world. And that is really important to me. And so I really love that. And I had been thinking about what Meredith was saying for months and months and months of adding that to my schedule. And this did make me do it, and I really do appreciate that. So there is this one I see value in what he was trying to say, but I think where he kicked himself in the foot, or I think he like making it more about those personal development books that I just cannot stand. All right, next one. This one. Okay. This one, if this one did not exist, I would have done this challenge, because this is stuff like, well, I mean, besides progress photo, this is stuff I like. This was great. Like, I don't know. I feel like these kind of went hand in hand, but this one, oh my gosh, this one was tough. I will say this one was really hard. Drinking 1 gallon of water a day. Now, I know that as a nation, and I know that as a world, we are water deprived. And I wake up every morning, and I have for the years that I take my medications. I wake up every morning and I start my day with at least 20 ounces of water. And so I'm starting my day where I'm not dehydrated, because I can feel it when I'm dehydrated. However, over the last week, drinking a gallon of water a day was too much for my body. It was. And I felt sick. Like, there was one point where, and I was pacing myself. I was drinking it like throughout the day. And it was really hard, because even drinking it throughout the day and feeling full and feeling sick, I was still getting in my water, because I'm like, well, I got to do the challenge. I was getting ill. Like, there was one point where I almost threw up. So, because I was drinking too much water, I was like, too much water. And I feel like there is research that is backed up that says there is too much. Like, drinking too much water is too much. And so I'm going to go back to my 80 ounces of water, because that's about what I average, 80 ounces of water, and I'm going to call it good, because that is enough. I know that I'm getting enough water. I prioritize water over everything. If I drink like my coffee, I drink my cup of coffee in the morning, I'm not giving it up. If I drink my coffee, I drink like two more, like, or like 10 more ounces of water. So I've got the water down. I just thought this was way too much. and I was sick, and I'm like, I don't want to make myself sick doing this. And where is my water guy? I did have one that had a water bottle, so let's put him on here. So this one, and maybe for some people that have never, and I wonder if it's like some people that never drink water or like whatnot, and his excuse was that you're working out twice a day. And I was like, well, okay, but I'm walking twice a day, and I don't feel like I need that much more water than I already have. And maybe some people are just more dehydrated. Maybe like, is it a difference between men and women's bodies? Oh, there's my little water bottle. Look at him. He's so cute. I love this guy. Okay. Oh, and then I had him set over here. I'm sure you guys were like, Mandy, he's over here. I'll put him here. You know what? I'm going to save this water bottle for something else then. Yeah, so that was my thought process with that, is that it was just too much water. And I'm glad that I prioritized water, but it was just too much, and I'm going to go back down to what I think is right and listening to my body. I'll go back to, I'm going to say 80-ish ounces. Because I do track a little bit of my water, and I will say that that has been something that I've been really good at tracking for the last week. It was nice to track it, just to make sure, but I guess it's definitely too much for my body. And they were like, well, unless you have a doctor's note, you have to do it. And I was like, that's not a really great medical advice. Anyway, that was just my thought process with it. Do as you will. And then follow a diet. I won't have much to say here. I have been tracking my protein because my medication works better with protein. And I've been tracking my meals for a while now. And some days I'm worse and some days I'm better. So I was on. It was nice to be on. I will say it was really nice to be on the whole time. The only thing for me is that I really discovered that I want to track because it's nice to see. It's just nice to see those numbers. And it was, I didn't really change much. I don't think I changed anything for the week with eating because I have been working on that for years, eating what's right for my body and eating without feeling guilty and like following a diet where I'm getting enough protein, where I'm getting enough fiber, I'm getting enough of those nutrients. I didn't feel like I needed to change this. And I do hit about 2,000 calories a day, which is with how much I'm walking. That's what my FitnessPal actually recommends. They actually recommend, which is crazy. That's so much food. My FitnessPal, with the amount of that I am working out and my day, they recommend 2,500 calories. I could not imagine eating 2,500 calories a day. So, yeah, no, just for me, because it's just so much. But yeah, I'm just fine. We're at 2,000 calories. So yeah, this one was not a problem. I really liked, that is the one thing that I really liked when I looked at this program. This appealed to me because it wasn't like you have to follow this strict plan, because every other plan that I have ever seen, they have a plan. They have a meal plan. And this one was what works for you and your goals. So I did like this one. I will say this one, don't change it. Yeah. Because you get to decide what's right for you, your body. And that's really important. And I think that's why this one really bothers me, because I feel like this one is counterintuitive to this one. And so that's where, you know, like maybe just drink water. You know, I feel like follow a diet, but drink water, you know, or like, I like the drink half your body weight in water. So that would have made more sense to me than 1 gallon, but that's okay. I want to know what the research is there of drinking 1 gallon. Do you just want to make yourself sick all day? Because that's what I was doing. Yeah. So anyway, I did like this part of the challenge. Okay. And then this last one, I will talk about here too. So this last one is no cheat meals or alcohol. So this one, I literally in the morning would just click off. So this one for me, for one, so let's talk about this one just really quick. So by the time that 6 o'clock rolls around in the morning, I already have a progress photo. I already have this, and I already have this. And by 8 o'clock, I have this. So I really only had 3 more things, and 2 o'clock, so these were my 2 challenges. Everything else was really simple for me. So that's why I was like, drinking the gallon of water and just making sure that I tracked in my Fitness Pal was the 2 hardest things for me. The no cheat meals, I'm going to talk about this where it says no cheat meals or alcohol. The idea here was that I was really good about tracking what I was eating. And so I don't feel like I would have had a place where I would have had cheat meals, because I was tracking everything and I was making sure that I was hitting my protein goal. I was making sure that I was staying under my calories and all of that stuff. And so that is fine. And no alcohol is not a problem for me because I don't drink that much. I honestly think I have had 1 drink, alcoholic beverage in the last year, because it makes me sick. So I just don't do it. So this one was simple. And it was just like in the morning, I would click it off. So that one, at least for me, and this might not be the case for other people, but this one was simple. Yeah, and that is the thing that I find interesting too. And so I, watching Jennifer's channel, she's going out, because she's in sales, she's going out with her coworkers, and she hasn't been drinking for a couple years now, and they're like the wine's high and everything. I never ever, and I hope that she gets to that point, I never ever feel guilty about not drinking alcohol. I don't want to. I don't like it. I don't want to. It's not that I'm opposed to it. It's just not something that I always enjoy. I enjoy one of those fruity little cocktails. A Miami Vice is what I enjoy when I'm on vacation, but I also could have it with just ginger ale, because actually I actually prefer that, because I love ginger ale. So that is that one. That one's really simple. So here is next. What is next? So I want to write this out. Should I do it in this, or no, I'm going to write it with my this one. No, this one. See, look at this. I'm more excited about the journal than I am everything else, because I want it to look pretty, right? So what's next? I love learning brush pens. And so down strokes, you press a little harder, and up strokes, you press thinner. So then you get that variation. I love it. It's taken a long time. I think, what, 2-3 years to be able to do that simply. And yes, so that makes me happy because I have been practicing so much to get lettering and I love it now. So if you're somebody who wants to letter, know that you can get better if you practice. And look at that. Isn't that fun? So these are both the same font, or both the same ink, but how different it looks in a pen compared to when you put it in one of those reservoir markers. And that is so fun to me. I think I've said fun at least 10 times in the last minute. That's okay. So what's next for me? Well, I'm going to make my own plan. And the big thing is I want it to fit with my goals and with my journaling and with everything. And so I was, before this, besides, I was doing the Artist Way, which had things. There was an artist date once a week. There was journaling every single day. They had tasks every single week. So that is kind of where I'm looking. I would love to. So I'm going to make this, one of my goals is to continue to walk my kids to and from school. And that will be about 60 minutes of walking. And there will be days where it's longer because I am walking my dogs too. My husband and I take shifts or whatever. So that will be that. So that is fine. I want to add strength. So I want to start 10 to 20 minutes of strength again, 3 times a week. So you give yourself, you have to give your muscles and your body rest days. Otherwise, you will hurt yourself really bad, especially as a woman almost 40. So, and that is really important. And then I don't want to take a progress photo. I want to journal my progress. And I don't know if that's going to be daily or weekly. Definitely weekly, but I'm not sure about daily. Maybe. 10 pages of nonfiction reading. Yeah, we're going to continue to read 10 pages of nonfiction, but not the nonfiction that he suggests. And then I want to just track my water and my food. And I'm not going to... I didn't mention this, but I don't consider any meals cheat meals. I don't like the idea of cheating. I also don't like the idea of failed because I didn't fail. I didn't like the program. So I'm not a failure. I tried it. It didn't work. Or for me, it would work. I'm sure it would work if your whole plan is to have that first day of 75 hard to that last day of 75 hard and to have a physical difference. If you care about if you care about what you look like, I feel like this program will work great for you. If that's all you care about, personally, because that's just my opinion. And I could be wrong because I didn't complete the 75 hard. And so I could be completely off. I wanted it as guidelines, and I am taking these guidelines and making them work for me. And I'm going to say track my food and water because I want to know what I am doing. So then this is just in my daily journals or in my weekly journals. And where do I have that? 1 second here. This is my traveler's notebook that has my bullet journal planner that some days I hate, some days I love, but I have all of these right here for myself. And you can see that last week I didn't really do them because I was doing them on the app. So, but if you go back, I get really good at tracking in the beginning and then end, but I also have different things. Like I want to track my praxis testing, and I want to track my gesture drawing. So I will continue to, I will take some of these. So I'll take these, but I'm going to add my other life stuff. So that is where I'm at with that. I think that this was a good experience because I did take it seriously for the 7 days. And ultimately, I didn't go into this thinking, you're going to stop after 7 days. I ultimately went in this thinking, you're going to do this for 75 days. You're going to feel so good about yourself and you're going to rock it. And then I got into it and I really questioned why I wanted to do it for 75 days, because I think I love a challenge. Challenging my brain, just, my friend said this yesterday and I loved it. She was talking about a song, but she said, it just scratches my brain in the right way. And that is such beautiful imagery. And I feel like having a challenge just scratches my brain in all the right ways. But I also don't love the tone and the language and the theme of what is in this. I feel like, in a way, it is devaluing you if you can't complete this. It's saying that you are less than. It's saying that you're a failure. It's saying that you're a B. Because it did say, like, did your brain say this? Your BA brain or whatever? I don't like that attitude, because where I see the magic in the world is failing and then picking yourself up, dusting yourself off and saying, I'm awesome no matter what. Like that is what really hit me, is that I'm awesome no matter what. I am awesome. And yeah, that's about that. And yeah, also found like I was sitting the other day and I realized that I could do a little star like that. So I have always done my stars like this. This has nothing to do with 75 hard, but it's like 2 X's. And I found that I actually like it where I draw one line and then do 2 little like arrows. So random, but I wanted to share that with you. And I know that the majority of my viewers on this are going to be people who watch all of my content and know that I like to share that stuff. So yeah, I think this turned out really cute. And in the end, I was able to fill out another journal page, so this is September 9th. This was September 7th. And let's see what before. August 18th was the last time I got in here. And before that, it was August 2nd. And so since my dad passed away, this has been hard to fill. So, I mean, and this does cover that time. Like it does cover the whole time basically the whole time that we found out that my dad was sick. When did this start? When did I start this? In April. So we didn't know how sick my dad was in April. We knew he was sick, but we didn't know how sick he was. And so this has been recovering from that, but I didn't want to give up on this journal. I love this journal, and I think that in years to come, I'm really going to appreciate that I have the whole journey of the last few months of my dad's life, on top of how I overcame it, or not overcame, but how I learned to live in a world without my father. So yeah, that's about it. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Is this something that you would have ever considered? Is this something that you're going to do? Do you think that my critiques are valid, or do you think that I'm off my rocker myself because I'm critiquing a program that you think is really great? I want to know. I would love to have a discussion, and I would love to see what other people think. Also, do you like the spread? I think it's cute. I don't know. I'm also falling in love with Sailor Shikiori Yozakura, which is shocking to me because I've had it for 2 years and I've never really liked it or used it. And now all of a sudden it's all I want to use. So obviously I have it in both my Sailor and my Tom Studio, and I was using it all together. So yeah, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye!